Some people have assurance, but they have no right to have it. Some people have assurance, but they have no right to have it. It is false assurance. It is false peace. It is a false security. Such false assurance is dangerous, deceitful, deadly, and damning, because it mistakes one's true spiritual condition. The old Negro spiritual put it simply: everybody talking about heaven ain't going there. That is true. There are some people who have a feeling that all is well between them and God, and it isn't. You can be assured that false religionists, false prophets, false teachers would like to give people that feeling, and so would Satan and his emissaries. And if such people who have a false assurance, who are not saved but think they are ever to be saved, and if false assurance is to be taken away from them, then they must be forced to examine two things: the truth about salvation and the truth about their spiritual condition. People often ask me why I so often speak on the matter of salvation and why I so often speak about this matter of your spiritual condition and self-examination. And the reason is because there are people with false assurance. Jesus knew it. That's why in Matthew 7 he said, "Many will say unto me in that day, Lord, Lord," Matthew 7:21, "and I will say to them, Depart from me, I never knew you," which will be a great jolt to them, since they probably have false assurance. That is why the Apostle Paul said in 1 Corinthians 11, every time you come to the Lord's table, examine yourself. That is why he repeated again in 2 Corinthians 13:5, examine yourselves whether you be in the faith. Because there are people who have assurance, but they have no right to it. You say, how did they get it? Well, somebody gave them some information about salvation which was not true. And they believed that, and because they believed what they think is truth, they feel secure. There are other people who misjudge their spiritual condition. They know the truth, and they think they have really believed the truth, but they haven't. In fact, much of our modern day evangelism contributes to this false hope by using a technique that I would like to call syllogistic assurance. Now, I don't want to lose you all on that term. A syllogism is simply a form of logic. It has a major premise and a minor premise that leads to a conclusion. And modern American evangelicalism has been giving people syllogistic assurance for many, many years. It goes like this. John 1:12 might be a starting place just to tie it into a specific verse. But as many as received him, to them he gave the right to become children of God, even to those who believe in his name. So you say to someone, did you receive him? Yes. Major premise. Anyone who receives him becomes his child. Did you do that? Yes. Minor premise. You just did that. Conclusion, you're his child. Major premise says if you receive Christ, you'll be his child. Minor premise says you just did that. Conclusion says you're his child. You say, well, that's logical. It is. It is. The problem is you don't know whether the minor premise is true. You don't know whether they just did that. You say, well, they just said they did that. That's different. You don't know if they did that. The Puritans would say, tested, then trusted. You don't know if they did that until they're tested. This is an appeal to a logical syllogism. If you know the facts of the gospel and minor premise, you believe the facts of the gospel, therefore you're a Christian. This, by the way, is a major component of contemporary evangelism. An appeal to a logical syllogism based on an untested profession, which is a faulty minor premise. We are basing assurance on a bare inference, not confirmed by the Holy Spirit. We have no Holy Spirit confirmation, and not confirmed by any testing. The truth of assurance is the reward of tested and proven faith. The Holy Spirit gives it, not a human counselor. Some people have assurance when they shouldn't have it then, because somebody gave them a false gospel, they believed it, and then they believe they're saved. Some people have a false assurance because somebody told them their faith was real, when in fact it may not have been. So we need to understand then, first of all, in this matter of assurance, that some people have it who have absolutely no right to it.